Hello and welcome to the Tuesday Night Adventure Highways Twitch stream, Sleuths in Waterdeep, 7 p.m. Eastern. My name is Blake Komar, and I am the Dungeon Master for this game. Tonight, we have a fantastic group of players. Some of them have been stuck in limbo, I guess, beyond their will. And now we will see in today's game how they possibly try and get out, or at least set to task to get out. Before we get further into the game and to the plot of what's happening right now, I'd like to start introducing our characters from bottom to top. From right next to me, we've got Brittany. Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself and your character?
Hi, my name is Brittany Redkema. I play the Smith Artificer Zari, as her canine companion, Steel Defender AAA, helping her call this chaos.
A 200-pound metal, what is it? A German Shepherd? Yes, regal this metal puppy is. And if you look above on the cameras above Brittany, you will see Kyle. Kyle, tell us a little bit about yourself and the character you're playing.
I will, but not before I mention that AAA is also the Pimp Cane extraordinaire, as we watched him crit 3 times in one session, stealing the Pimp Cane from my character, Broken Naked Eye, who is a Pimp Super Sleuth PI, formerly of Waterdeep, now of Limbo. Doesn't matter where I am, I will solve anything, anytime, and definitely do it sober.
Always sober. That's one of his shining traits, actually. And last but certainly not least, we have someone joining us today, a new player to not to D&D but to this group. We have Sarah. Would you like to tell us about yourself and your character?
Hey, I'm Sarah Massa. I am new to D&D as well, but glad to be here. My character's name is Carl Tealeaf, a halfling gunslinger, and she's just an old cowboy lady. That's about it.
Fantastic. I'm interested to see how she fits into this mess that's going
Thank
on
you.
here. This pile of people, per se. I'd like to thank everyone who's been viewing, watching, subscribing, following. Y'all have been awesome. And keep it up. Tell your friends. Tell everyone about what's been going on. We've been building and building, and you all have been amazing about this. So thank you all for everything you've been doing. We post Tuesday nights, or we post on Wednesday nights. We have our Spotify and YouTube from the Tuesday night 7 p.m. Twitch stream. So if you don't catch us on Tuesday nights, you can certainly catch us Wednesdays for our YouTube where we post the video, and on Spotify, you can catch the audio from the session. Without further ado, I guess we shall jump into this session where our sleuths have been catapulted into the land of Limbo, or the realm of the plane of Limbo, the chaos realm, where things are just not what they seem, or they are what they seem, and then they keep changing. You just never know what's going to happen next, kind of a thing. They had found what would be the Stone of Creation inside the palace, the Clockwork Palace of the Monodrones, the Temple to Order. And upon removing it from the wall, and who has it right now, by the way, out of you guys?
Brogan.
Brogan has the stone? Gotcha.
After failing the first time, I tried again.
Very nice.
Either Brogan or Steve.
Yeah, I think Brogan took it out of Argyle's mouth. Because Argyle's the one who took it out of the wall after Steve just walked the horse over, or after Steve walked the horse over to the wall, went to go grab it out with the horse's mouth, and then pulled it, and then Brogan took it. As you guys noticed, all of the thousands of monodrones now, you're on the sixth floor now, above the pentadrone level, where the warehouse where they assemble all of the drones for extra storage. You started to find what looked like about hundreds of drones. Turned that there was this drone creation and storage palace facility in this clockwork temple to, I guess, robotics. They were storing thousands of them that were all awakened when the Power Stone was taken, and they are all on their way up to the sixth floor. And as you overlook the main floor which is about 150 yards out. You see it filling with monodrones, pentadrones, duodrones, tridrones, all of them different kinds of drones, different amount of legs, arms, all of these clockwork mechs now moving out into your area. And Zari and Brogan, you guys are standing there. Steve all of a sudden passes out right behind you, Brogan, as Zari is holding onto your neck. And you are running towards the edge as you look over and see this.
Oh no. Steve, you can't have hot flashes just because you're an old man that used to work in a deli. As I'm sprinting past him, I'm going to look back at Zari that I can't see because she's still invisible. Can we try the mayonnaise trick again that you did on the rats? Do you have a bunch of mayonnaise still that you can throw on the stairs? Anything.
Yeah. Mayonnaise, here they come.
And so you throw mayonnaise out. This is the equivalent of, like, this is like an alchemy jug.
Yeah, alchemy jug.
Yeah, so your alchemy jug pours mayonnaise out of it as, like, one of the stairwells, the top of it gets coated in mayonnaise, and you see thousands of them now coming up and starting to fly up to your floor, about 50 feet away off from you. And as this happens, you hear Argyle in a voice behind you, which is the Sean Connery voice, which I, again, as you've reminded me a little earlier, I always forget that I'm going to have to do this until now. Steve, get on my back. I'll take care of you. But AAA, grab my reins. As he's now huffing and puffing, and you see what would be this Conan the Barbarian Steve just get thrown over his back as Argyle gets below him, kind of. And he's like, Kyle, help, or Brogan, help me. Help me get him up.
So I will run back. I will then try to hoist Steve's now very sculpted ass, as he rolled very well at his intelligence save, up on top to Argyle.
And as his perfectly sculpted hams flow like water onto this horse, all of a sudden you see in the slight distance, back across the room about 50 feet, 60 feet, a head pops out of a wall, and it almost looks like there's a hand holding a cowboy hat with a pistol in the other hand. As this little, almost like 3 feet off the ground or so, you see this head pop out from inside the wall.
On what floor did you say that was again?
And this is on your floor. So, like, when you went back for Steve, kind of a thing, he was probably about 10 paces behind you. You kind of had to turn around to do that. And as you turned around, you saw towards the end of the floor that you're on, where you had grabbed the stone. You're looking at all, like, these walls of, like, different clockwork cogs and pipes and everything like that. You see kind of out of one of the walls a female halfling head pop out from this wall, kind of, with a pistol in her hand and just staring at you across.
As I'm holding the thing in one hand, Zari's hanging off me in the other. I'm gonna look and be like, another fellow hat wearer. That's wonderful. Hats are great. We're leaving now. Don't know if you want to come with us, but the exit is definitely not that way. And I point at the stairs, and after I look at all the flying robots, I'm gonna be like, or all the flying monodromes, I'm gonna be like, this is bullshit. We can't catch a break.
And Sarah, what does Carl look like from head to toe as they are now seeing Carl?
So Carl Tea Leaf is a halfling. She has this brown cowboy hat on her head, gray hair braided down. She's a total horse girl, so has to have a braid. Brown sort of long coat, ascot-esque thing tied around her neck, vest, jeans, and what are they called? What cowboys wear on their legs? The
Chaps.
not chaps. Yes, cowboy boots, and she's got a pistol in her hand and is just looking around. She's like age. She's like 187, so she has like wrinkles, and she's just like looking around, kind of just scanning the area. And you're like, what's here? What's going on?
And as you kind of look back to your left, the area you poked out of seems to be an elevator shaft area that as you poke out further, it's almost like you're moving a door as you're moving with it.
Okay.
And you like what Brogan would see behind you is like there are like lines coming down almost through this wall down, and it seems like they just keep traveling further down. Like if you were looking into an empty elevator shaft.
Does the elevator look like it's big enough to fit a normal sized person?
it looks like it's an elevator shaft. You don't necessarily see the elevator. It looks like you can fit like 2 or 3 people in there of normal size. If you saw the elevator in front of you, you just see the shaft kind of open
Are
shut.
there any windows in this building?
No windows for where you're at, kind of.
Okay, I'm gonna attempt to manifest a lot of really great wild magic because I want to put a battering ram on Argyle's head so
Okay.
we can get out of here.
Very nice. And so do you want to go back towards where the halfling is, or do you want to go out towards the monodrones?
I want to go back to where the halfling is. I just want Argyle to bust through the wall because we're not all gonna fit, especially with a big horse butt and the super hands of Steve through that window. So we're gonna have to figure it out. So we're gonna wild magic Steve or Argyle into a battering ram.
I love it. Give me a horse-sized battering ram roll for the D100 for wild magic.
85. No, your answer was not what I wanted.
An 85, you say?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's see if I get the right wild magic here. Yep, that's the right wild magic. 85. So all of a sudden, you see as this horse turns into a battering ram, a horse-sized battering ram. You see it's just like hovering in midair with Steve on the back of it. You also see all of a sudden there are now 4 Brogans standing around you. Brogan.
Perfect. I'll look at Argyle and be like, Argyle, you know how you said you wanted to die? If you get us out of here, you can die. Cross my heart, hope to whatever you want. Let's go, baby. Get through the wall.
He gives you all of a sudden you see the tear in this battering ram's eye, if it had eyes. Just the one solidarity tear, as it might get what it wants after it's had this greased up janitor all over its back for a good day now, at least. And it runs.
I forgot he greased himself with baby oil.
This completely greased up janitor that has turned himself into Arnold Schwarzenegger. As you all of a sudden see this battering ram flies at the wall and it crashes through what would be like elevator-ish doors and opens up the shaft to the point where all of it's right by you, Carl, where you look right next to you and it's almost like a holy moly, this giant thing just came flying at me area, kind of, and breaks through the wall right next to you, exposing the whole elevator shaft to everyone.
Okay, Carl is just gonna look at it and be like, "What in the Sam hell?" And then look back and be like, "This at Brogan, like, because she watched that horse turn into a battering ram, so she's just very confused."
We're on our way. Let's go, Zeri.
as Zari's holding on to you,
Invisible.
invisible. Carl, you see that they run over to you, and you're starting to see thousands now, Carl, of monodrones come up from the ledge that they were on. They were like on an open ledge near a set of stairs, staring over a large opening. You're now seeing all of these little like square drones, triangular drones, just little wings on them, flying over the edge, starting to move towards you all.
Okay, and did the robots come from floors below or above?
Yeah, they came from floors below. It's like if you were to picture a long warehouse kind of a thing, the front of the warehouse is like 100 feet of just completely open. And then you get to where the floors are, and it's like completely like open concept assembly lines for different kinds of drones, upwards of 5 floors, and you guys are on the 6th.
Okay. So I assume the plan is just to get out of here, right?
At this point, yeah, probably. Yeah.
All right, then Carl's just gonna be like, if you're not moving, you're losing. Let's get.
Very nice.
Yeah, as I'm running through there and telling Argyle to keep going, I'm gonna kind of reach down and see if Carl's okay with it. I'm like, the more the merrier, and I'll go to throw Carl up on my other shoulder, so that way we can just keep going because you know I know with Step of the Wind I'm gonna be hoofing and rolling.
Very nice. And Carl, would you accept this Dragonborn just running up and trying to scoop you?
I think normally Carl would completely fight this, but knowing that there are so many robots after them, she'd be like, "You're just lucky I'm married. Let's go." And it's just like She'll probably do something after they're safe, like hit him or something. But right now, she's going.
That's
with the
okay
flow.
because you never let a goalie stop you from scoring. Let's go, baby. and we're running.
As you're running, you all of a sudden get right to the ledge. You look down, you see two lines going straight down, and it goes deeper than you can see. Literally, it's almost like you may have to jump on this pole and slide down, kind of a thing. These steel lines.
Perfect. First thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to wild magic Argyle into being something that can float down. Because if he wants to die, he has to come with us.
And as he looks over the ledge, you see this long battering ram kind of like teeter slightly over the edge, and then you see the face of it just look back up at you, just this flat end of a battering ram.
I'm gonna kick Argyle in his ass and then be like, "Here we go, baby," and jump straight down.
And as you go to jump straight down. What do you wild magic him into?
I want to wild magic him into a. Oh no, I can't pick anything that flies. He'll just leave. I'm gonna wild magic him into a magic carpet to take us down there.
Oh, roll me. Okay, so this is a magic item. You can definitely do so. Give me a D100 to see what it
Here we
looks like.
go, baby.
I was gonna say
Straight
two
Aladdin.
D100s, but just one D100.
Okay, well, if it's only one, it's the first one,
It's
which
the
was
first
not
one.
as good.
Yeah, it would be unfair if I kind of. Okay, so as you're going down, all of a sudden, Argyle does turn into a magic carpet. As you look below you, you've got Carl under one arm. You've got Zari holding onto your neck. You look right below you, and you see this magic carpet. All of a sudden, flops out, and it's red, and it's got yellow. It's got all of the decorative Arabian Night style magic carpet, traditional magic carpet properties, as all of a sudden you're floating down, and you're now floating slower and slower and slower. And all of a sudden you see him finally turn into a full magic carpet. And as he turns into a fully formed magic carpet, you get covered, Brogan, Naked Eye, in grease. Give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh man, I hope the 4 copies of me are jumping down too.
And they are all covered in grease too right now. Give me a dexterity saving throw. A
Not bad.
15. Let me just double check. I think it's a 13 to beat it. So all of a sudden you land perfectly on this magic carpet, holding what would be Carl under one arm. You've got Zari around your neck, holding on, invisible. And
Steve's underneath me, and now we're both covered in oil.
yeah, now you're both. That's what happened, because it said your roll of a 19 was you cast grease centered on yourself. So
that's perfect. So now, take that, baby oil.
Yeah. So you're literally just covered in Steve at this point now, as you're seeing all of your 4 doppelgangers from your mirror image just fall straight down, pass down this elevator shaft, all the way towards the bottom, and you just hear tiny thuds as you are now floating down an completely dark elevator shaft, not knowing where it ends, as it's completely dark.
I'm gonna look back. Zari, any other ideas? That might be the extent of my genius for the moment.
Ari's going to pull out her tools. They're still invisible with her, and she's just going to tinker on Hogan's hat and make his hat glow bright light in a 5-foot radius.
Ooh.
Her magical.
Very nice. As you tinker on his hat and make it into bright light in a 5-foot radius, all of you all of a sudden notice, as you're floating down, you see what would be clockwork walls around you that have cogs moving, and that have all of these cogs moving and different steam pipes moving through, almost steampunk-esque. But as you look at the center of each cog, that are some like 3 foot, some are 2 foot wide, some are 1 foot wide, some are 5 feet wide. As you're looking at all of these cogs, as you're going down this shaft that's like 15 feet by 15 feet, you notice that in the center of each cog seems to be an eye that is following you down as you move down slowly.
Take out my hammer and just start hitting the eyes.
As you're going down, there's just eyes everywhere you're just whacking at.
Well, I hope that Zari would follow my style S, because I had the little beads around my pimp hat. All the little beads now have little lights on them.
Oh my
as
gosh,
opposed to like,
I love it.
As opposed to like 2 straight up like actual like headlamp lights. I want all my little beads to light up, almost like a bug zapper around me.
Fantastic.
Well, it comes and goes.
And Carl, you're
Exactly.
seeing all of these little eyes around you as you're watching Zari go to poke them out. You've got this light emanating from Brogan's hat.
You now see Zari appear.
Yeah, you see
She's
Zari appear
attacking.
after her attacks. And what does
Yeah.
Zari look like that Carl is seeing?
Zari is a 5'4" human with brown eyes and brown hair, and just see her covered in grease because she was on Brogan's back, and she's just like swinging around wildly with a hammer back and forth.
Fantastic. And you get to see a clear picture now of Brogan naked eye. And what does Brogan look like that Carl is seeing?
I am a 6.5 foot tall dragonborn that doesn't wear shoes. I wear what used to be a lavishly bright orange pimp coat with an orange pimp hat, which is now a lit up pimp hat and a grease covered coat. And all my scales are green.
Love it. Um, as you're floating down, it must have been 20 to 30 floors you've been floating, possibly more. You can't really tell at this point. You finally get to a place where you see a little bit of a light coming down out from a hallway, almost like it's not, it may or may not be the bottom of the elevator, but as you're floating down, you can tell if you wanted to have the carpet stop there, you definitely can.
I'm going to very nicely, because Argyle is our sentient horse carpet battering ram. If he will stop here, please.
And you see, as the it ripples slightly in the air, it stops, and as you all look down this long hallway. It has cogs in the walls, like with again eyes in the center of all of the cogs as they are now moving and turning. You see steam moving through. Um, and as you look further down the hall, you see that it is slightly dim lit the whole way through, and it's dim lit by the almost like the metal in these cogwheels is just emanating light slightly, which is lighting the hallway as you see that there is a long hallway ahead of you.
Well, I guess this is as good a time as any. I'm gonna look at Argyle after I look at the hallway and I know it's 15 feet. I need him to be something that's big enough to carry Steve. Can't leave Steve behind, even though he fainted like a weirdo. And I guess say again, sorry.
It's the hypertension.
Exactly. You know what? We're gonna aim to upgrade Argyle. We're gonna give it our best friggin' shot. We're gonna try to wild magic him into a Pegasus.
Oh.
Give a D100 as you try and wild magic him into a Pegasus. A 21. As you are focusing your darndest, thinking as hard as you can on it. Oh, wow. Okay. All of a sudden, if I'll let you know if it comes up. Um, what happens?
No.
You don't know though. But he does turn into a Pegasus, and you see that he has. It's like a completely beautiful, majestic white body, with what would be like tan brown grease just flying all over it, just sitting all over his back, just like dripping off the back of him, kind of off the haunches and his middle lower back. Um, as he just looks at you with a tear in his eye.
Yep. I'm here for you, Argyle. You're our boy, Blue. I'm gonna tie Steve to him so he doesn't fall off because he's all greased up.
It's just a lot of squishing sounds that come out of this.
Yeah, it's a lot of real awkward stuff. I'm then gonna look over at Zari and Carl and say, "Does anyone have a bag for this?" As I'm sort of like still holding the eye down here.
Mm.
I've been holding that in one hand. Does anyone have a bag for this?
I pull out my bag of holding.
Funk.
You can definitely drop it in the bag of holding. And as you do, you're now staring at a hallway in front of you.
Is the hallway lit?
Slightly
I
lit,
don't
dimly
remember.
lit. And it's lit by the walls, kind of a thing. Like the walls are emanating a very dim light that are coming through.
All right, well, let's get weird. I will set Carl down, assuming she wants to walk again on her own. And I will then very nicely ask Zari if she can stop choking me because it's been the last 20 minutes and all. Every time I run, it's just slightly dying as she pulls on my trachea.
It releases.
So
All
Carl
right,
gets down and just punches Rogan in the leg. Just like
That's fair.
That's how you
Happy
get for
grandma.
touching a lady like that.
Hey, you know what? But you made it, and I'll put my big hand on her cowboy hat. I'm like, and we're all here. It could be worse.
She's steaming.
Of course, of
Just
course.
happy grandma. It's fine. Have some soy
Yeah.
sauce pockets. Does that make you feel better?
You say soy sauce?
Yes, soy sauce.
I'll take it. I mean, I'm never gonna say no to a handout.
So as we begin walking down the hall, and we'll keep our doing our fun banter, I'm gonna lift my jacket up in typical Brogan fashion and take a sip of that top quality hooch I rolled well on before.
Very nice. As you take a sip of the hooch, give me a perception. And what's your
That-
passive, Brogan, by the way?
My passive perception?
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good. Hold on. I'm silly.
It's why do
My
you ask?
passive perception is a 10.
A 10. Okay. It's one of those almost perfect comedic timing as you go to take a swig of your hooch. All of a sudden,
Oh no, it's grease.
the next step in front of you is not there. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
I will.
A
Ooh.
23. As you are, tell me how you avoid all of a sudden this 10-foot pit that's right in front of you of spinning blades.
So with my drunken technique as a drunken master, I take a swig of the booze and immediately my senses are heightened. And as I do that and become suddenly wobbly, I go to take my step forward and then immediately just lay back comfortably on the floor. And I'm like, oh, this floor is so nice and cool. Also, everybody avoid that stuff in front of me.
The 4 in the morning stare at the ceiling like only a drunken master can.
Exactly. You know there's a ceiling fan above me, whether they know it or not, just to cool stuff down, and I'm looking right at it.
Only Brogan would know that if you put your foot on the floor while you're on the bed, the room stops spinning. So there you go.
60% of the time it works every time.
As you look in front of you and you realize that there was a pit of moving saw blades in front of you that you had just narrowly avoided as you fell back.
How far is the pit?
It's a 10-foot wide by 10-foot deep. So you see it's about 10 feet in front of you is the other side of this hallway.
I'm gonna look over at my now majestic friend Argyle. Well, you can fly, and obviously you've got Steve. Do you think you can carry anyone else?
And you can see that he's just looking at you defeated, and he's like,
I'm not saying me. I'm heavy. I'll jump it. I'm talking about the other two.
He looks over at them, and he says, okay, I got to do the voice again. If you untie this greasy man, I possibly can help you.
Fine, but you can't leave him. He's the one that gave you sentience. He loves you. I will, as I'm tying Steve.
This is unrequited love. And as you hear him say this is unrequited love, you hear a buzzing coming down the elevator shaft. It sounds like the buzzing of monodrones and duodrones as you are about 100 feet off from the elevator shaft.
All right, well, this is definitely going to get weird. All right.
Steve is now, you've been able to take Steve off of the Pegasus. And
ladies, if you please, I will hold my hand out so people can hop up on Steve. Or Argyle, excuse me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zari, you jump up?
Yeah, I jump up.
Very nice.
Oh,
Carl, now
my
as
hands
a
up.
true horse girl, you're seeing a unicorn in front of you. Like, what's your
Yeah.
experience?
If possible, Carl is starstruck. The reason she's been silent this whole time is because she's been staring at Argyle this entire time, being like, "It's beautiful. They're amazing." Just silently though.
Given the chance to now ride a unicorn, a Pegasus.
Hey, great granny, hop up.
Carl's gonna just glare a little bit at Rogan's hand. She hates people helping her. And then she's just gonna be like, I might need you to pick me up. I'm 3 feet tall. I can't get up there.
All right, fair enough.
Usually I'm step ladder.
We'll grab her by the waist, hoist her up with Zari.
Very
Once
nice.
Zari's got her, I'm gonna look at Steve and be like, why couldn't you have wished yourself to be somebody smaller? This is gonna be a heavy jump. It's not as heavy as when you were fat, but oh my god. And I will take Steve's arms and I will put them around me, and I will tie them with the hempen rope that I have 10 feet of.
This is terrible.
And I will tell Argyle, you go ahead and go. I'm gonna do what I can.
All right, I'll go across. So that's what I'm reduced to is these tasks, huh? As he goes across, and slowly just hovers in the air, and he says, "Soak it up, ladies. Uh, this is not going to happen often." And gets to the other side of the 10-foot spinning blades in the hallway.
I'm gonna yell, Argyle, you're as majestic as they come. This is the least complaining you should be doing.
As you've got a half-naked, greased-up Steve on your back.
Yeah, exactly. I now understand why you're upset all the time. I then go to try to make the jump across the chasm, either with acrobatics.
Go for it. Give me a acrobatics or
allowed.
athletics as you go to jump across this chasm.
All right, acrobatics it is.
Fantastic with a 19. Love it. You are definitely able to get across as you see all of a sudden, it's just like as Steve's on your back, it's just like literally slamming his feet and knees into the ground as you land, like perfectly as you jump. It's just like you hear the thwaps and skin on ground as it's just like making that streaking sound kind of.
Hey, feet and knees are fine. I will then grab Steve and carry him like a princess. I'm like, as long as we didn't hurt the pregnancy, we're good to go, big guy. And then I will try to keep up with Argyle and the ladies.
Love it. As they are moving ahead, you start to see that the monodrones are starting to head down the hallway. And they've made it to the hallway. You've now cleared about 150 feet ahead, maybe 200 feet ahead of them. They are moving slightly slower than you guys are, especially with your step of the wind. And as you reach the end of this hallway, all of a sudden, you get to the end of the hallway. Now, who is wearing metal currently right now?
Boys, all metal too.
Yeah, Zari is all metal. Carl, I don't think you have any metal armor, right?
No, I do have a gun though.
Gotcha. So all of a sudden, you hit
Naked
an
as the day I
area
was born.
where all of a sudden, I would say each of you give me a perception. Just to
all three of us?
Yeah,
or
all
just
three
those
as you're
wearing
moving
metal?
through. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've got Zari and Carl up ahead right now with Argyle right behind them. But perception, gotcha. So okay, yeah, Brogan, you were too far behind. What Carl picks up on all of a sudden as you're getting closer and closer to an area up ahead of you is that there are magnets on the ceiling in the hallway as you're getting to this section of it because you feel like your gun is now getting raised out of your holster in your hand up towards the ceiling. And at the same time you're doing that, you see Zari all of a sudden starting to elevate off the ground towards the ceiling.
Carl's gonna be like, whoa, and like see if she can try and stop Argyle from moving.
Okay.
Just because she's the magnets.
Gotcha. And you start seeing Zari slowly floating up. And Zari, you are starting to slowly float towards the ceiling right now.
I'm just going to grab onto Argyle's mane to have a grounding point.
Pull out his hair? Grab the reins, you animal!
Oh, does he have reins? Is my question. If he has reins, I'll grab the reins.
Of course
there
he does.
are reins, yeah. Well, just for safety's sake, for just so we don't get any PETA problems, paladins for the ethical treatment of animals. We will say that he has reins. So
I grab his reins and I'm just like, oh crap.
And yeah, definitely.
Carl's gonna tap on her shoulder and just be like, do you mind if I get on your back? Might help. Just trying for the weight.
I think that's how magnets work.
Well, if there's enough weight, maybe you won't float.
Maybe I crush
until we
you.
get to another spot.
All right, if you feel like it, I might crush you.
And
Carl just kind of climbs up and is like sitting on her shoulders.
as you're sitting on her shoulders, you're like
Like a
sitting on her
5-year-old.
shoulder. It's almost like a bug. Give me an acrobatics or athletics, as like she is now floating partly up to the ceiling. She's holding on to the reins of this Argyle. Her feet are now moving towards the ceiling area because you've got 50 buckles on your boots, and you're riding her like a bronco almost, as she is like bucking, moving up to the ceiling. And Brogan, you're running in on this site as like yeah, your back, I guess, Carl, your back is to the hallway you were walking down. Zari's
Mhm.
holding onto the horse, and you're sitting on her shoulders, just riding.
So I get the greasy underwear guy, and they get this. Wow, Argyle. Yeah, solidarity tier. Where is it now?
As he is just trying to pull back, but you're feeling the pull as you get closer. And Brogan, are you wearing any metal objects? I don't
I
think
guess
so. Your
I
flask.
can't think of anything. My flask is metal. Yeah.
As it
That's
starts to
true.
float out of your pocket slowly, out of your jacket, you start to
Oh,
see it float.
I aggressively try to grab that.
As Steve hits the ground, you aggressively jump
I
after
don't care about Steve right now. I need
as your flask is floating up to the ceiling. Uh, all of a sudden, you start to notice now as it's floating up to the ceiling, you're able to hold on to it, but you can feel it getting drawn up there, and you realize something might have to be done to get through the rest of this hallway.
exactly. It'll be easy. I open the flask and I'm going to finish it so that way it's not a big deal. And then I can just let the metal float up. So I pour the flask as it's floating up and just try to glug everything that's left.
Yeah, and you're literally holding on to it as it's lifting you off the ground. You glug the last of it. I will say, give me a Constitution saving throw with advantage because, like, you do drink a lot, so we'll give you the advantage. But I want to say, okay, 17. You're doing okay. This is you're hitting the sweet spot. Um,
Perfect. Then,
I
then I will drop a solidarity tier.
what was that? Sorry.
I was going to say, as I'm hanging on the reins upside down, I look at all of our metal stuff and I turn it into a magnetic metal, so copper.
Ooh, give me a wild magic. D100. A 95. I hope this is good.
Ooh.
Oh shit.
Uh, okay. If this comes up, I will let you know what it is, but you don't notice anything technically, except for the fact that you now fall to the ground with Carl on your back.
I'm going to hope I'm not underneath them.
No, you're on I guess you'd be on the side of them, right?
Perfect.
Yeah. As your flask turns to copper, I guess, and becomes not magnetized. I guess copper's not magnetic. So I think,
No,
right?
if it was bronze and it had tin, it would be, but not as just copper.
Yeah, it's just copper. So all her Zari's armor, your Carl's gun, and your flask turns to copper, and it lands back in your hand empty, as you are all on the ground now. And Argyle just looks over at Steve on the ground, and then looks over at Brogan and the party, and gives a hoarse sigh as it's judgingly looking at you.
A Pegasus sigh as he's leaving.
Sorry.
And as soon as he does that, I'm gonna put the flask back in my pocket, grab greased up naked Steve, and put him back on Argyle. I'm like, this is what you get for that look. I was carrying him. You did this to yourself. And then I will tie him to Argyle's reins. I'm like, no more complaining about that mallet hammer hanging off you.
Yeah, for real. He's it's almost like Steve emanates grease, as it's just there is more there. He just gives off more at every moment. It's just
Hey, Grumpy
yeah.
Grandma, Double Team, do you want to get off the horse? Away from the greasy man?
I would love to. Get me away from this. And she like comes down.
And you see the monodrones are about 80 feet away now.
Cool. I'm going to summon a giant brick wall in front of it with wild magic.
Very nice. You summon into existence a wall in this hallway. Is it like a giant brick wall or a stone wall or what?
A giant stone wall, standard stone wall that you regularly see in Waterdeep.
Gotcha. Give me a D100.
Oh, it's there.
Or
The 74. Okay. Sorry, I was mesmerized by looking at numbers for some reason. All of a sudden, there's one, two, three, four creatures around you. Let me roll a d4. I'm gonna say Carl is 1, Brogan is 2, Steve is 3, Argyle is 4.
what?
Steve is 3.
Steve.
All of a sudden, while Steve is passed out, you just hear him vomit right off the side of the Pegasus, and he just throws up. He's like, and he goes back to being passed out. But now half of Argyle is just covered in Steve's stomach contents.
I'm sorry, Argyle. It must be his morning sick. I'll clean that off as soon as we get out of here.
Carl look at Steve and just be like, "What the hell's wrong with this man?"
Oh, he's expecting. It's a joyous occasion.
And Steve is now poisoned for 3 hours.
God, will that hurt the baby?
No.
Which I'm sure
Let's say it's
Argyle's gonna enjoy.
motion sickness,
Yeah.
food poisoning, or something.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. From something he had at the Githzerai
Probably
camp.
somewhere in its mouth.
So we now have the brick wall between us.
Yep.
I am going to look at the group and be like, having a lot of fun, but Argyle, you may need to be a battering ram again. I'm heading to the end of this hallway. The promise is still on.
And as you're on your way out of this hallway, you see it leads to what would be almost like you've traveled into like what would be now. It's probably been about 200 feet on the hallway. You did hear that the monodrones did slam up against the brick wall and started chiseling at it. So it's only a matter of time before they break through. But for right now, you've definitely got some distance. And as you've traveled down this hall, gotten to what would be a set of stairs, it opens into a insanely large cavern-esque area. And inside this cavern, the huge rock, it's the clockwork area has slipped away, has given way to what would be interior of a rock cavern with little like glowing stalagmites and stalactites over it. It's about 100 feet high. These stairs go almost straight down. It's like so steep, beyond what you can kind of see, probably about 300 feet. It kind of winds back and forth as they go down, as you're looking at this insanely large cavern-esque area.
Are they muddy stairs or are they regular stairs?
They are metal stairs. Metal, like, that's the only, I think, clockwork thing in this area is like these metal stairs as you're looking at inside of a giant in-the-ground cave kind of a thing.
Are they like a stairlet where like they go down and around on the outside?
Yeah, they're zigzagging kind of. So they go down and zigzag back and forth, like as they're going down a face. So like the steep part is like it's coming down the face of a mountainous area, but it's metal stairs that are just zigzagging back and forth, kind of.
I'm just debating how much I think I want to try a cool running setup at this.
Overboard down. I'm thinking that.
Do we want to be a bobsled team? Because we could do it.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Bobsled.
We're going to go straight cool runnings. I'm going to try to wild magic a bobsled or a stair sled, whatever the equivalent would be, into place. And there's 3 of us, and then we're gonna throw Steve in like a little saddle pouch on the left, and Argyle's gonna be our 4th. We're gonna get weird on this. We're gonna straight cool runnings this as hard as we can.
With the horse, is the horse gonna be in the back, holding up the train, holding up the weight, just being your anchor?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And then I'm gonna be in front steering because I'll probably screw it up. We're gonna have a good time.
So the horse is gonna be your anchor. It'll be sitting like a human, like.
Exactly.
All right.
We're gonna put
Those are just on top of someone's shoulders.
Exactly. His 2 hooves are gonna be behind whoever's third,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna sit there and try to steer terribly. It's
I
gonna be
love it.
awesome. We're going straight cool runnings. Let's
For the
wild magic it.
scope of how awesome this is, give me a D100 as this comes into place. A
Not
54.
terrible.
It's, I wish gotta wonder if there's an actual method to it. Do you have any
That's why
hair?
it's wild. What?
Do you have any hair?
Scaly household, baby.
Okay, so I'm gonna roll.
It's
There's
54,
1,
not
2,
55.
3, 4 other than you. A D4. Carl's gonna be 1, Zari's gonna be 2, Steve's gonna be 3, Argyle's gonna be 4. Uh, 1, Carl, the hair on your head, your old lady gray hair, all of a sudden, you just see this bobsled come into place. And as it does, you just feel on your ears and shoulders, all of your hair falls out.
She's like grasping at it, and then she takes her hat off, and that I guess it releases the rest of her hair.
Completely bald.
And she just looks at Brogan.
Britney Spears gone crazy bald.
What did you do?
Fashion statement. I'm so proud of you, honey. Get in the bobsled. We're getting weird. Argyle, you're in the back.
You're looking at look good like this. And she puts her hat back on.
As you're gonna weekend at Bernie, Steve, leaning up against Argyle in the back. Who's gonna be leaning up against Steve?
AAA.
AAA. Who's gonna be Zari? You'll be leaning up against AAA, the dog. And then Carl, you'll be leaning up against Zari.
Yeah, I guess.
And then Brogan will be up in the front as you start to go down this crazy, winding, steep path as Brogan is steering this bobsled, as everyone is probably screaming for your life. Yeah, hands in the air. Just be careful and be scared. I'm going to need a series of rolls. Brogan, give me, I'm going to need your first, we'll call it athletics or acrobatics in how you steer this thing as you are starting to come across the first major hard turn with a 20. What does it look like as you ace this?
So as we're coming around to the aggressively 90-degree turn, what I start to do is I start to lean to the left and I go, lean left. And as people start leaning left, we are rolling on the first skate down, and then we immediately go down the next 90-degree angle perfect as
Beautiful.
we even out.
It was poetry to watch what happened. As you guys go straight down, and we're feeling it going awesome. As it's not even bumpy with a 20 acrobatics. And give me an athletics or acrobatics as you start to hit what would be a upward hill that does a couple of slaloms, like a couple of ups and downs as you start hitting it.
Ooh,
a 23.
I'm on today.
Wow. As you hit with a 23, what does it look like as you're hitting these slaloms that are bumping up and down?
So I look back at Carl, and I'm like, Carl, lean forward. And then I look back at Zari, and I'm like, Zari, Argyle, lean back. And we land perfectly as we've displaced the weight from the front to the back as we're landing, because the front is supposed to be lighter as we're gliding into place. And we are just effortlessly rolling down this stairwell. It feels great.
Fantastic. I love it. And as you are effortlessly rolling down this stairwell, we're about to hit the last part where there is a jump. Why is there a jump on a set of stairs? I don't know why they built a set of stairs with a jump. That's a stupid set of stairs. But there is a jump, and I will need everyone to roll me in athletics or acrobatics as this comes up, as we hit the jump. What? You professional rollers. Like, this is 21, 20, 24. Zari, 18 for AAA.
+4, so 22.
22 for AAA. You guys roll nothing below a 20. This is crazy.
We're trained for this.
So,
you would be in the Olympics, the Waterdeep Olympics.
That's what I'm saying. We are the Waterdeep bobsled team.
Go for the gold.
We're gonna go.
Now we got a plan. We got to plan it out.
Front to back. Brogan, with your crit, what does it look like as you are hitting this jump with everyone in the back?
So as we hit this jump and I'm steering, I do a 360 in the air for us to land, because I know I'm feeling good, because I got this, because I'm Brogan, the greatest PI of Waterdeep and Limbo.
Fantastic. As you do a 360, it spins 360, And then as we go next to behind Brogan, we have Carl. What does it look like as he's doing a 360 and you're getting a 21 on this?
Carl's holding her hat. She's got no hair, so it's easy to fall off. And she's just like holding on to Brogan's shoulder. And just like, let's do this. Man, let's do it. Because she doesn't know anyone's names because no one's introduced themselves yet. So she's just like, let's do this.
Very
I
nice.
think Carl's introduced herself to us either. I think we were all just like, who are
Yeah,
you?
that is also true.
Yeah, well, you had a bunch of robotic impending death coming your way. Who knew what was going to happen?
A
And
horse turned into a battering ram, then turned into a carpet, then a Pegasus. It's been a crazy 5 minutes.
Zari, you are behind Carl, holding on to Carl. What do you do with a 20 on your acrobatics as he's pulling this 360 on the jump?
Zari's hands in the air like you're in the roller coaster going, whee! Just flying through the air.
As you're going to
Secretly,
land
she's getting ready to cast Featherfall in case we all fall.
the second you look back, you all of a sudden you see Argyle the Pegasus doing a quick dab just to make sure everyone sees it. If the camera does the shot like it's a roller coaster, he wants to make sure that he's well known. As Steve is Weekend at Bernie's it as he's laying back. You see his head just rolling to the side and back. You all of a sudden
hear
hear
out, like slightly vomiting.
yeah, just a little bit of vomit still. I was gonna say, yeah, you hear a little bit of a dry heave, like a, and he goes back to being passed out. As this lands perfectly, and you skid to a stop at the bottom of a cave floor.
I immediately go for high fives with everybody because that was great. We all did a great job. I even high five Steve's naked head covered in grease. I'm like, yeah. And then he spits out some more vomit, and I feel terrible. And I'm
slips
like,
off. He goes,
I'm like, oh my bad. I then go to pick up Steve, and I'm like, thanks, Argyle.
Some things are worth living for.
That's what I'm talking about. You're getting into it.
You did good, Brogan. You did good. This sentimental.
Oh,
word.
wow.
First compliment I've had. That's the first compliment Argyle's given in like 5 sessions.
She's just like, wait a minute. She's like, you just gave a compliment.
Thank God my hat is all light bulbs, so no one can see me very quickly. Oh my God.
Carl takes her hat off and puts it over her heart for this moment.
It's special.
As you're savoring the moment, taking this compliment as compliments have never been given out before in this respect, you hear a familiar squeaking of a rat moving through. And you hear it.
I reach for a dart.
You get a dart ready. All of a sudden, in the darkness, you hear all of a sudden a squeaking as it says, you hear, wow, that was a really cool jump that he did. Did you see that? Yeah, it almost looked like he knew what he was. And you hear a growling and a squash as they never got to finish a sentence, as you hear a growling in the distance of this cavernous cave.
As I put the dart away, I'm like, thanks. And I throw the finger guns.
You throw the finger guns at whatever possibly killed these character assassin rats.
Yeah, because they're brutal.
You look and you hear thudding in footsteps as they start walking towards you. You see what would be a 8-foot tall, giant red slod, toad-looking creature standing and staring at you as it starts to billow towards you at the bottom of this cave. Roll into initiative.
Oh my God.
Oh man, it doesn't even say anything. I can't even get a funny
toad.
quip in. Not even a funny quip. What a turd.
A red slod. And some of us have dealt with.
Oh, geez.
Just call him the slot a toad.
It's like a
The red
giant toad. I will show to players so you can see it.
It's a toad. What's the insult then? A frog?
Well, there was going to be something that was going to insult you, but it apparently got crushed in the darkness.
I'm trying to insult the slot. I'm trying to call it a toad.
Excited about it.
You can call him Raphael from the Ninja Turtles.
You could.
Because it's a turtle
I would
and one of them.
Exactly. Or you could make a joke about how he's like got a weird tadpole thing still going on. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
this slod, this giant red, about like a bunch of feet tall, over 7 feet tall, looks over at you, starts running at you with its black claws glaring out, and it moves. It's going to do a run and then a dash and end about 10 feet from Brogan. And that's going to be its full turn at this moment. Is closing the distance on you guys, and you start to see from the stalag, I guess, mites that come up from the ground, that are glowing in this yellow iridescent glow. You see its full face as its tongue is almost like a snake-like tongue sticking out, and its claws are dripping, ready to scratch at someone as he
As a
stops
free
10
action, don't let it impregnate you. That's what got Steve.
I was just
And
like this.
Carl is up. As Carl, where would you be? You'd probably be close to Brogan, right?
Yeah, I think we're all like in this similar sort of group.
We all hopped out of the bobsled and high five, so we're all hanging
Oh
out.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, exactly. You're all high fiving as this slide wants to high five you guys, and Carl is up in the initiative order.
I do not want him to touch me.
All right. Carl takes out her pistol and she's gonna aim right for its head
Very nice.
and just be like, "You're an ugly looking thing, aren't you?"
As
Let's
it
see if
doesn't
this
know a word. It's looking at you confused and hungry.
let's see, pistol shot.
And
7.
yeah, if you click, oh wow, a 7, it just goes wide as it hears the boom and just goes wide. And I guess you have to roll me a d20 now for your possible misfire, or
Okay, D20.
a 5. You're good. As this shot goes wide, and you see, what does your pistol look like?
So Carl's pistol was made by her wife. So it's last thing she has from her. So it's like this, I guess it's copper now because
Yeah,
yeah, so it's copper. But it still has the engravings and stuff and it kind of has like flowers and what looks like wheat on the sides and stuff like that. And then it has Belle on the side, which is the name of her wife on it. But it was silver and like bits of different metals, but now it's copper.
very nice. As the shot rings out, and just misses. Any bonus action you take, or action surge,
Um,
or any of that.
I'm gonna save my action surge. As a bonus action, can I take out my hand axe just in case, or is that an action?
Um, you kind of drew your gun on this turn. We'll call it, since
Okay,
they're two
yeah.
small weapons. We can say you drew them because they're not like large like battle axes or anything like that. It was pretty
Okay.
easy for you to do.
So her action in one hand, pistol in the other. She's like
Gotcha.
stomping her foot.
Well, with the pistol, you're gonna need the reload property, so you kind of
That
have to
is
have a
okay.
hand free.
Okay, then never mind. I'll just keep my hatchet, like my axe, on the side.
Perfect.
And she's just stomping her foot though. She's upset. She didn't get it. She's like, "Damn it!"
Love it. Brogan's up.
Oh, Brogan's about to get weird. So Brogan's got grease on his back still from all the time he was hugging Steve. He's going to attempt to slide in between the slod's feet and then trip him with his pimp cane.
Love it. Let's see. Well, let's give an athletics to see how well you slide, to see what it looks like.
Can I do acrobatics? Or
Acrobatics,
does it have to
perfect. Acrobatics, love it. Fantastic. You slide perfectly. What does it look like as you slide between its feet?
So I try to slide between his legs and then clip his left leg because I'm going in between them with my pimp cane to then trip him so that way he's prone.
Give a staff attack, and we'll do opposed. We'll do opposed strengths on that. A 14 to hit. Does a 14 hit?
I don't know. He's large, so hopefully.
Yeah, you would hope. A 14, perfect. You find out that their AC is 14, and it's going to be opposed strength for him to stay on his feet. He rolls an 11, just beat an 11. He falls
16.
prone to the ground.
Yeah, being a bad monk works out when you roll well. Strength monk.
As fantastic as he falls right to the ground. He will take the 4 bludgeoning damage from the attack and falls right to the ground.
Perfect. I tripped him up. Boom, and now we're flanking because I'm behind him. There we
True.
go. We got it.
If
We got
someone
this.
runs up and melees, you're gonna have advantage on that.
Never mind. I take
Anything
it
else?
back.
Any bonus action?
Hold on 1 second. I will spend a key point to declare him as my dodge action with
Very
patient
nice.
defense.
Yeah, because you don't want to get struck by this. Zari.
Okay, I'm gonna hold my action and cast Firebolt when he stands up.
Okay.
And for my bonus action, I'm going to command AAA to run forward and attack with his Force Empowered Rin. +4 to hit. 18 +4.
That hits.
Then it's a 1d8 +2 force damage.
Very nice.
4 damage.
4 force damage as this metal German Shepherd, 200 pounds, just runs up and starts tearing at this Slod's leg. That's while it's on the ground.
He just wants to save that pimp cane.
Yeah.
Then I back up 15 feet and just go, hey, Gunner Granny, make sure you hit.
Your granny.
Gunner
Granny.
Love it.
She's double G, baby.
The
Double
Slod
G.
stands up. Let's see that firebolt.
Hey. Firebolt.
Does he stand up as a full action, or does he intend to
It will
swing?
be half his movement.
No.
As the 12 misses, which would have been a whopping 1 damage, but it sucks we just missed that 1 damage. But anyway,
Do I get my attack of opportunity because it
Yeah,
wasn't a full round?
he never moved out of your attack range.
No, but if you stand up and it's not a full round action because you plan on taking an action, you do get an attack of opportunity.
True. Yeah, jump in on that. Smack him.
All right, we're gonna get weird. What? Say again?
Yeah, AAA's right there too. Yeah, and you both will have advantage having a flank.
So, question: am I allowed to drop the staff and flurry of blows, or can I flurry of blows with the staff? Can I flurry of blows? Is really what I'm asking.
Is flurry of blows a bonus action?
Flurry of blows. Immediately attack after you take the attack action on your turn. You spend a key point to make 2.
Yeah, you can't flurry, but you can do a regular attack and drop a key point.
Well, what would be the advantage of dropping the key point? Oh, you know what?
For like a different kind of strike, maybe?
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to two-handed quarterstaff because I have both my hands free because I'm not flurry of blowsing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to do it as a two-handed, which gives me a D8 if I hit.
There you
That's
go.
a 15.
And with 24, that hits.
Oh, I have advantage and I get the +2.
Yeah,
so
because
that's
you're flanking with AAA right now, so you and AAA are on both sides. It's like the metal dog on the side with Carl and Zari, and then you're on the other.
All right, so I take my pimp staff with my 6 points of damage and I clip him in his upper thigh, and I'm like, these will never be sculpted as beautifully as Steve's.
And he just stares at you, not knowing what in the world you are saying.
Well, I'll say it in Draconic and in Common in case he understands either. He probably doesn't, but
no, he does. He's just still staring at you with his head to the side, kind of. And he is now. You did take the dodge action. That was your held.
I did
as your key point. So he is going to claw at you for a 12 to hit, and I don't think it hits, right?
Oh, I'm a 12 AC, but with the dodge, I'm a 13.
Wow. Very nice.
Best key point in the game.
Well, isn't dodge disadvantage?
Dodge is disadvantage.
Yeah, he rolled a 12 and a 22.
Well, then his 12 hits. It looks like I'm pregnant.
Give a Constitution saving throw. Beat a 14.
Woo! All right. I will.
You are good. You do take 4 piercing damage, and one of the wild magics that we had when the before the bobsled came up was that the party is going to be it's not resistant, it's the opposite of resistant. It is vulnerable to piercing damage. So you take 8 piercing, but you don't at least get pregnant, which is nice. This is
Hey, that means I get to hold that over Steve forever because he's
yeah,
the
this
only
is a
one.
minus, not a plus.
Yeah, exactly. This is a win in any way you look at it.
Very nice. Carlotta, you are up.
All right. Let's see. Think Carl is gonna takes an action to reload her gun. Or I think I have three pistols.
You get three
Three
shots
bullets
before you
left.
reload. So yeah,
Okay. All right. So
you
I'm
just leave
gonna
one hand free when you use uh, a tool that has an ammunition property, like a hand
yeah.
crossbow or a pistol, because it's just part of
Okay.
the loading property. I don't know why. It's just part of it.
It's like imagining the hammer didn't actually exist
Yeah,
in your pistol. So instead of it rolling over like it should naturally, you have to
Mhm.
physically move it over to then take your next
you're
shot.
physically so.
That's fine. All right. I'm just gonna try aiming for it again. Uh, and just be like, you son of a bitch. Like, she's just getting like very southern and mad and just be like,
Very nice. As it's coming out, as the true Southern draw is now coming out. And 18
Woo!
hits for 12 piercing.
That's what I'm talking about. There you go, Carl.
Do you add any grit to
And,
that?
um, let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna add a grit to it.
What do you think you're going to throw on there from your trick shots?
Um, I think I'm going to do. I'm gonna use a forceful shot where it says when you make a firearm attack against a creature, you can expend one grit point to attempt to trip them up and force them back. On a hit, the creature suffers normal damage and must succeed on a strength saving throw or be pushed 15 feet away from you.
And it's got to beat a 13, and this would be expending one of your grit points.
Yeah.
If
And
it fails, like get an attack of opportunity because even force movement's still a free swing, and so does
well,
triple
force
A.
movement doesn't. Uh, the only thing that will give an opportunity is going to be willing movement. Force movement does not
Oh,
give opportunity. Yeah.
okay, fair
Yeah, it's
enough.
just, it's weird. It's all weird, man. The rules are just so weird. Here's the
Everything's
strength
weird.
saving throw. A 19 as he passes, looking at you, looking at this wound where he just took a giant 12 damage in his shoulder as he sees this wound, stares at you and does not get staggered back. And to get another grit point, you will have to attack and then hit again to rebuild your grit point.
Can I second wind?
Yeah,
I'm gonna second wind. See if the luck keeps going.
An
All right.
action surge.
action surge, right? Action
Yeah.
surge, not
Action
second
surge
wind. Yeah,
creates the second win, so yeah,
yeah.
it's the
Second
Oh,
second
wind
sorry.
win.
gets you
Second wind
health.
is the healing. I'm at action surge. Yeah, sorry.
All good.
I know what
And
you
that
meant.
hits for 10. When you aim the shot, what does it look like as it hits?
So she's like aiming her gun and she's just like, you slimy son of a bitch. And it's just like goes and it's almost slow-mo, like in movies where it just is like spinning and just like hits him right in the shoulder.
Very nice, as both shoulders now have holes in them perfectly, symmetrically, actually, uh, which is
Like those
perfect.
like tattoos, like the bows that girls get sometimes, just like one on each.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And it's perfectly symmetrical. I actually think these bullets went through looking like bows, which he does not appreciate. So that is perfect. And you are able to get one grit point back to use on your next turn.
Awesome.
Brogan, you are.
That's for Bronco.
That's for Bronco.
That's
Brogan
right.
is up.
All right, I drop the staff. I go flurry of blows. Spend a second key point out of my 3.
Very nice. And you still get your attack before you even do the flurry, because your flurry happens post attack. So
Oh, all right. Well, we're gonna full attack and then flurry of blows. And the way it's gonna look, because he was currently looking at Carl, is basically I'm gonna look to throw a couple of kidney jabs, and then depending on how they land, I might try to kick him in a less savory place. We'll see how it goes.
fantastic.
So
Where everyone
so
else's reproductive organs are?
Exactly. So attack number one with a +2 because I'm flanking with
Well, yeah, you
triple
have
A.
advantage on it for the first one. So 20 hits for -5.
Oh yeah. And then we're gonna throw two more with flurry of blows. Ooh,
Nice.
26,
So
and
that
then
24
15.
hits and the 13 does not. So
That's a
another 6 off
15. I'm
there.
flanking. That's a 15. I'm flanking.
And flanking gets you advantage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
then he still takes 11 from me going kidney shot, and ringing up into him.
Yeah, and you went
I'm
right
coming
for
in.
the moneymaker, but that's not where he keeps his moneymaker, and you missed.
I'm coming in straight Mike Tyson on the first two, and then I go to kick his moneymaker, and I realize there's nothing there, and I'm like, damn amphibians.
Love it.
Infernal sex weapons, messing up everything again.
I feel your +2s that you're calling from previous editions. It's like, oh, this is 4E right here. Like, this is, you know what I mean? Like, this is where my +2 comes in.
Yeah, I'm trying. It's 4E. It's 3-5. It's even AD&D.
Yeah,
I'm
where
trying. I'm showing
it's
my age a little bit in that. I'm
yeah.
showing my age a
No,
little
I
bit.
get it. Like every now and then I still catch myself going back to Thaco, but anyway.
But yeah, that's still 11 points as I ring in the two kidney shots.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. Great hits as this thing is like it's swerving its body and swirling side to side as it's getting just pummeled by you all. Zari, you are up.
I cast Firebolt at it again.
More than one damage. Oh my god, yes.
Wow. For 4, I love it. -4. And where does this hit?
It just hits him on the shoulder. Sorry, still trying to see him.
Love it. As it hits him in the shoulder, it literally just burns in where one of the bows was on his shoulder, where the bullets went in, and it just irradiates now a glowing orange bow where his shoulder is now.
She was trying to ignite the powder. Obviously, I mean,
Yeah,
smart move.
for sure.
In
And
bonus action, I'll command AAA to attack again.
go for it. And AAA comes in with
He has advantage, right?
With advantage.
Yeah, okay.
And what's his
13
attack
plus
mod?
4.
4?
4.
He hits. 13 plus 4. That's going to hit. He has a 14 AC.
Right, 4 damage.
-4 as AAA gets in on the action. And as you all look back, this red slot looks around. It sees that Steve is back there leaning on Argyle as Argyle's trying to figure out how to get out of a bobsled with hooves and having this oily body. Now that like Argyle's covered head to toe, back, belly, butt, all covered in grease and oil, as this horse is just trying to kick itself out of this bobsled with this body just laying up against it. It goes, bloop, bloop, and you see that this slod starts looking and goes to make a beeline towards the bobsled where Steve is sitting with the horse. That's going to give AAA and Brogan an attack of opportunity with his weapon. And it'll also Zari, do you have any weapons in hand?
I can have a dagger in hand.
Okay, if you have a dagger in hand, then you can also attack. So you guys are all going to get an attack of opportunity. AAA, Zari, and Brogan.
Mine's only going to be a punch as I drop the quarterstaff to go hard in the paint. Hey, there you go.
Very nice.
Oh
my god!
That's 2 of them.
Oh my god.
It's
11 plus 2.
This is so cool.
4.
It's 13 and 5, so that's 18 to take him out, and this is before AAA.
And then AAA.
And then AAA.
And then me.
Don't forget, you get advantage, or AAA does.
Should we take the 18? And so that's
for me.
18 plus 6 is what, 24?
Yep.
I think 24.
That's good math.
As you see this slide, all of a sudden, as AAA is the last, or it wouldn't be AAA, it would be Zar. Well, no, we're gonna call it your last punch. It might be the 5-finger death punch or something like that. But with you both crit, so it'll be Zari and you. First, Brogan, tell me what your character does that's gonna kill this thing, and then Zari, you tell me what your character does that kills this thing.
So as he goes to run, I go to give him the Bruce Lee 1 inch death punch as the true monk, and as I place my hand 1 inch from him, I immediately release and eject him toward Zari for the perfect dagger stab.
Very nice. And Zari, he's coming towards you now off balance. He takes 2 to 3 steps as you can see something's going wrong in his body, and your dagger comes out. What happens?
Boy was the one who got the crit for me.
Oh, AAA got the crit. So all of a
And
sudden,
not me.
as AAA goes around the other side, you stab with your dagger, and then AAA. How does AAA finish this thing off?
AAA just runs. I want to say he runs on top of Brogan and leaps off Brogan after he does his one punch, his death punch, and just tackles Slot to the ground with the force of his attack.
Very nice. As we're now just watching a giant, 200-pound German Shepherd just tearing at the back of this neck on this toad, just grabbing at it like it's a chew toy, as this 7 foot red slod goes lifeless, and you see it reaching for Steve, muttering some words out of its mouth, almost like it recognizes something in Steve, as it now perishes to the
Can I
ground.
attempt a wild magic to understand what he's saying?
Um,
Translator, get the
yeah,
translator
you can
back.
wild magic it. Go for it.
We're,
Give me a
we're, look,
D100.
we're looking for the
An
translator.
80 as you're trying to pull the translator out. An 80 happens.
I know he's talking about it,
you
but
go
I
to
want to
pull
know.
you go to pull the translator out. The translator flies into your hand as it comes out. You see this stone that's glowing as you hear brr, 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 brr. And then all of a sudden, all around Brogan, it's the most aromatic smell of beautiful flowers and butterflies flying around you. Um, like you're in a commercial or in a field. Uh, and butterflies
Well,
are
you smell
flying
like
around you.
spring meadow.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I'm real cute. It's okay.
As the stone repeats, our next unborn were the last words that came out as he falls dead.
Cool.
And you
All
are now
right. Well,
surrounded by you have a dead slot on the ground in front of you, a horse that finally got out of the bobsled, and
Pegasus.
Pegasus that just
Pegasus.
got out of the bobsled, who talks
I
like
guess
Sean Connery, and
Damn it.
and you are surrounded by butterflies that will not stop flying around you while you smell like beautiful flowers.
All right. Well, the butterflies keep flying around me. I'm going to roll over to Steve, put Steve back on Argyle and be like, Argyle, I made you that promise, and I meant it. You've done a great job. Please hang tough till we get out of here. I got you. I didn't lie.
And as you go to pat him, your hand just slides down him as he's just covered in Steve, from head to toe.
In Steve and grease and vomit, and I'm like, I know this is the worst, Argyle. I'm like, I literally carried him for the same amount of time as you did. I feel you, Argyle. I feel you, and I know it's disgusting, and I got you. I promise.
And the
I
moment
really do.
you turn your back, your investigation of 9 does not pick up much. As soon as you
That's
go to
fine. I was just hoping for something. I wanted to learn a
something,
bit more about the song.
yeah,
Can
you
I
don't
try
pick up
one?
much. It seems like he's living in the. It probably lives down here. You can see a lot of its tracks in the bottom of this cavernous area. As Brogan, you go to turn your back after you have this heartfelt moment of sentimentality with this Pegasus, who finally holds his head up high and starts walking behind you. As you start walking out towards a corridor, you hear Steve go, as all of a sudden Steve let, unloads the last of his stomach contents all over Argyle again. And you can, if you can hear a tear flow from an eye, you would be able to hear it louder than any sound you've ever heard as Argyle just sheds another tear.
As the
Press
uh,
forward.
as the as the out of game character, youngest in my family, and as someone who understands this, what Brogan is going to do is he's going to walk back and he's going to wipe down Argyle because we know we got the wall for a little bit of time. And, we took out the slide in about, I don't know, 20, 30 seconds. And he's going to make sure Argyle's all set because he's been a real trooper. We've turned him into 9 million things, done 9 million stuff with Argyle. He's been our buddy since day one, and I'm not gonna let him down. And I'm gonna take the 10 or 15 seconds to wipe him down so he's at least clean.
Very nice,
Like,
and he is very
that out loud,
appreciative.
like I've been here this entire time.
You
I
what?
feel like
Sorry.
if he said he's been our buddy since the beginning, I feel like AAA would just stare at Brogan and be like, "I've been here the entire time."
Obviously, I love you, but I've never changed your shape. And you stole my pimp cane. Although you did bring it back with the sexy, so.
You're Carl from the back. You took my hair.
That was an accident. We had to get out. I'm sorry.
You can make it grow back yourself. See what happens.
Look, there's a lot of crap being thrown on Brogan right now. Could you leave me alone as I'm wiping down Argyle? I'm like, I don't see any of you guys helping. I carried you all to safety.
Carl will go help.
Aw, as you're wiping down this Pegasus, it's becoming a majestic beast again, almost getting the dignity back that it once had when it was the horse of a mage back in Waterdeep. What seems like
Carl
Carl
ages
just
ago.
like whispering to her, like, you are beautiful, you are amazing. What's that thing from the nanny, or what is it? The help is just like, you are loved, you are important, you are smart.
Whispering
You are
platitudes.
serene. You are special. Exactly. Yep.
And you is smart.
Argyle
I
loves
was going
it.
to reach over to Granny and just at her hat and give her rainbow color hair back. How's it rainbow colored?
You're gonna give her rainbow colored hair back. You're gonna wish it into existence. A 49. As you wish her hair back, you look now. You have rainbow colored hair, Carl.
It's like
And
flowing. Hold on, let me do this. Like this sort of.
it's flowing
Oh,
beautifully.
perfect. But it's rainbow. Exactly. Yeah, it's right there.
As it's flowing beautifully, Zari, you go to say something about what you've done with the hair. Like, what would you go to say that you've done with the hair as soon as you
There
wish
you
it?
go. You got your hair back.
But as you do that, she sees that there's no sound that comes out of your mouth, and as you mouth those words, bubbles come out.
Just
And
start speaking so I can get more bubbles to come out.
yeah,
so it's
and
like
no sound comes out, just bubbles are now flying out of Zari's mouth.
Bubble party.
Yep.
Okay.
Carl's just like,
Yeah, just poking at each bubble.
can she try and get it to stop though? Can she try for a wild magic sort of thing? I know she
Yeah,
is
what are
only
you gonna
like
try and will into existence? You have 3
Whenever
feet.
you
When
want.
we rolled for you, you have 3 feet of area that you can control around you. What would you control within 3 feet of you?
so in 3 feet. Carl is gonna walk over to Zari, and she's not a hugger, but she's gonna hug Zari just so she's in her 3 feet,
Oh, wow.
and she's gonna think of be like, she can still have the bubbles, but she can talk. Because it seems like she's enjoying the bubble, so she's gonna just
Oh,
get her
very
voice back.
nice. Roll me a
The bubbles
D100.
pop and you just hear what she says.
Yeah, as that's the introduction to it. So you rolled a 32.
32.
That's the introduction to Zari talking again, is the bubbles have noise in them. As they're just popping, you hear her what she's saying. And then all of a sudden
Oh no.
Yes.
I'm gonna lose all my hair again.
No.
all of a
Oh,
sudden
you're
you're
already
hugging her,
bald,
you
honey.
see
It's
the
great.
bubbles, you hear one of the words pop out of the bubble, and Carl, you disappear. Not only do you disappear, you are no longer in the chaos realm. You look around you and you are in space. And as you see the astral plane around you and you see space around you, you're almost like seeing what would be branches and almost like large tree branches of astral, spectral, or ethereal light going from just beams of areas that are all moving and interconnected and woven. And you're starting to see these branches starting to fall off of this, what would be tree. Like, you can't see where the tree goes down to. You can't see the base of it. You're pretty much in the middle of an astral plane. But you are seeing a bunch of interconnected paths and branches that are all just falling slightly. And
As soon as I noticed that Carl just poofed
Yeah.
out of existence, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at Zari. I'm gonna poke all the bubbles, and I will roll acrobatics if I have to. But I'm pretty sure I'm good at that.
Mhm.
The flurry of blows, and I'm gonna try to figure out where Carl is. If I can't figure it out, my next thing is gonna do is gonna be to wild magic her back here, as she has helped us save the day.
Very nice. And as you do so,
Sounds
Zari, what
fucking
would the bubbles be saying as he's poking them out?
Honestly, your granny just disappeared.
And you pop, Carl, after seeing what you saw in the astral plane, these branches falling off the tree one by one off of these millions of paths. You all of a sudden are now back to hugging Zari.
Gunslinger Granny is back.
I mean, you can just call me Carl, but Granny works too. And she's just
I'm
looking
gonna-
around. She's just like, I was just in space.
Brogan
Like she's like a crazy old lady now in space.
Brogan assumes as he is the greatest sleuth in Waterdeep and in Limbo. He was like, "Yep, you're welcome. I wasn't gonna let Carl go because I now suddenly know her name. Because after figuring out where she was from and trying to extract her back from wild magic, figured out her name.
Also just said it.
Yeah, I
True
also.
enough. You know what? You said intelligible things. Carl said what makes him feel better. It is what it is.
As you are finally back, you're hugging Zari. You see that there is a long, almost like a cavernous area that's going smaller and smaller and smaller from like 400 feet high to 200 feet high to 300 feet or to 100 feet to 50 feet that goes down, and you see what would be the lights of the sky of Limbo, almost like you could almost see out into the sky of Limbo, what it had looked like prior, with like the swirls of fire, and but it's in the distance, like hundreds of feet away. But you see it out of this cave exit, kind of a thing.
Okay. Carl's gonna let go. Sorry. And she'd be like, "Thank you for the hair. Represents my sexuality, and I love it." And then it turns to Brogan, just be like, "Thank you for getting me back. Space is crazy. There was a tree there. It's like,
The branch
I
is
think I
falling
see
off
where.
the tree.
What was it?
The branch is falling off the tree.
Branch had fallen off the tree. There was a tree in space. I couldn't see the bottom of the tree. It was crazy.
So the tree of life is having fun. Well,
Yeah.
well, with that, what it is, Argyle, grab Steve. We're on our way out.
I already got him. Let's go.
But hey, Argyle, you were cleaned and taken care of. We loved you. I don't want to hear that shit. And I made you a promise. I got you, Argyle. I got you.
You're right. This is dignifying. Let's get out of here. As he follows right behind you, and as you guys walk to this exit, you now look almost like you're looking straight up above your heads as you finally walk out to this exit where you see the swirls of fire and water and land and ice and floating islands of essentially rock with different things on them, all floating through limbo and the chaos of the realm. You look and you see what would be the floating city of the Gith Zerai is now directly above your head. And directionally, what that would do is like you remember Brogan and Zari when you left the Gith Zerai city and you kind of went upwards towards the city as you kind of floated through the limbo, getting up to it.
You mean stepping on air? Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. You're now at the bottom of the essential the rock, the meteor, or the floating land mass. Like when you went up to the top of it where the temple was, you are now completely on the other end bottom.
Zari, we did this before. We're heading up. Carl, I know you hate it, but hop on.
And
She just crawls up, Brogan.
as you crawl up Brogan onto the back of what, Steve, I think? Brogan, or onto the back of Argyle. Steve's on the back. Brogan, what do you do?
So I take Steve if I can, because she's not super heavy, and I put her in front of me, so she's actually at the front of Argyle and can steer and see where we're going. So it'll probably make her feel better,
Very
especially as
nice.
a horse girl. And then she'll also get to ride Argyle, the Pegasus, the majestic animal, in full control.
For sure. Just don't make hard turns because you're gonna hear sloshing behind you. And it's like
Yeah,
a
yeah. No, I got a hand on Steve while I'm doing this. I'm like, this is great. Here we go. You
very
go ahead and
nice.
direct us up. We're heading that way.
And
Those are our friends, and then things get back to normal.
as you
Or
push
just
off
grabs the
from the
underneath of
island,
the saddle.
Zari, what are you up to?
Just grabs the underneath of the saddle and just hooks her other hand around the harness on AAA.
Very nice. Very nice. As you are now all harnessed up to Argyle and leading around, as some of you are going to be running in air, some of you are all going to be riding this horse. As the horse just starts trotting, lifts off from the ground, and starts moving towards what would be this city that seems upside down above your head. And
Well,
as you move towards the
well,
gate,
don't forget he is a Pegasus, so he can
that's
fly.
true. He could fly.
He
Um,
could just fly.
yeah, he could. You know what? He is flying. You're right. He is. I keep forgetting he's a Pegasus. He is just flying.
That's what I'm talking about. Best move in the game,
Yeah, he
Pegasus.
is just flying. So as he's flying with Steve on his back, you hear Steve just going, "Oh," as his belly is rumbling. And as you all of a sudden get down to the Githzerai city, the area you had taken off from the floating city, off towards the side, outside of the walls of the floating city that you had taken off from, you land and you realize the moment you land that all of a sudden on this rock where the floating city is, your hair falls out, Carl. The rainbow hair falls out. The Pegasus turns back into a regular horse. Everything that had been wild magicked turns back into normal. And you hear
Do I
from
get
the
my
other side of the
normal hair
wall,
back?
what's that?
Do I get my normal hair back, or is it still blonde?
Your normal hair grows back. It is no longer
So
rainbow.
so
So your normal hair
your
grows
normal
back.
hair comes back, but the best part is that Steve grows a dad gut,
Yeah,
and his sculpted booty shrinks down to a normal dad booty, and he looks like a regular, just out of shape guy.
out of shape
He's
janitor
basically
dude.
Dum Dum
Back
Dugan
of
from
his
Captain
stomach.
America.
Yeah,
Just dad.
just move it aside.
His butt's just like, and now he has the gut.
You hear a door open from the walls in front of you as you walk across what would be this Mars like red surface of dust and rock. And as you all walk across this Mars like red surface, you see a Githyanki poke her head out. It's Kilu. She says, "Hey, you're back? Come on in, take your shoes off." And
Have a meeting.
that is
As
where
I've said
Training.
8,000 times, I don't wear shoes.
that is where we end today. With a take your shoes off. Well, thank you guys. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. You guys kicked ass and took names. That was so much fun. And
I
thank
thought
you.
we had a hoot.
Yeah, that was
Oh yeah.
awesome.
It was fun.
So much fun. Sarah, you kicked ass. Kyle, you kicked ass. Brittany, you kicked ass. I'm overjoyed to be able to run this game for you guys and to think up all of this crazy shit to put you through. So it's been fantastic. Anything
I
you
was super excited about two things. One, I wanted and loved all the wild magic from everybody.
that was so cool.
So the wild magic, I mean, literally, like you're talking like battering ram to Pegasus to flying carpet to everything everyone else did. I really think the wild magic is where we make our gains in a chaotic realm, because all that does, whether it wins or loses, is it gives us an opportunity to do something funny.
Yeah.
And I I love that. I think that's a huge win, and I think base wise on how you said it for the world of magic was a
Mhm.
total win. And
Yeah,
I think
it's
we should
awesome.
take more advantage of doing like dumb stuff where I'm like, hey, the horse is now a battering ram. Like, I mean, that's that's totally out of left field, but that's exactly what we're looking for. We're looking to be weird, chaotic, and funny, and I feel like that's where we get it. I love
Yeah.
that.
It's a great idea.
Number one.
I was so happy to bring Limbo to the table for that because it's such a beautiful setting for that kind of chaos, you know? It's a lot of fun. Um,
Oh, huge. And then the only other thing I was gonna say is that loved the interaction. I felt it was very, very what's the word I'm looking for? It was very organic between Brittany, Carl, and myself as a group,
yeah, it worked out
or
really well. It worked
Zari,
out.
Carl, and myself as a group, or
Yeah, I
you
loved
know,
it. We really knocked it out of the park today.
I thought we did a really good job, especially as a one shot. I feel like you did a really good job, Sarah.
Yeah, kicked ass.
I had
We may see you again
fun.
in the future. To all of our
Maybe. Let me know. I would love to do this again.
100%. To all of our followers, subscribers, everything like that, please like, follow, subscribe. Catch us on YouTube. Catch us on Twitter. Hit up our Discord. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m., we stream on Twitch. So please like, follow, subscribe. Anything you guys want to tell any of our viewers right now that you would like to, or anything you want to plug for yourselves? No? All right. Leave some comments about how much you like it, what you would like it to see us do, anything along those lines, and we are happy to accommodate. All suggestions are good suggestions until they're not, but we'll use judgment on that. But thanks, everyone, and we are signing off for the night. See you next week.